Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's District 79 webinar, where we're going to deliver a training on the DCP program, Creating the Best Club Climate and Meeting Roles and Responsibilities. My name is Akanki Abdul Khalik. I'm the District 79 webinar chair, and I'd like to go ahead and introduce our webinar team for today. First, we have DTM Joey Villanueva. DTM Joey is our immediate past District 79 governor, our past Lieutenant Governor Education and Training, as well as our past Lieutenant Governor of Marketing. He has served actively in Toastmasters for 21 years and is a certified public accountant, finance manager of Treasury at Al Merjan Holding Company Limited, and is going to present our segment on the DCP program today. Thank you so much, DTM Joey, for being with us. Next, we have DTM Abdullah Kozaba. DTM Abdullah is the past Division M governor, a past Area 54 governor, as well as past president of Apcake Toastmasters Club. He has coached and mentored several clubs in English and Arabic in the Eastern region of Saudi Arabia and is an active member at Apcake and Friendly City Toastmasters Club. He works as a senior project engineer for Saudi Aramco and will be presenting the module on creating the best club climate. Thank you, DTM Abdullah, for being with us. Next, we have DTM Abdul Ghafoor. DTM Abdul Ghafoor joined Toastmasters in 2007. He served actively at the club level in many positions. He is the immediate past Division F governor and was named Division Governor of the Year for the last Toastmasters calendar year, which is 2014-2015, for District 79. That's wonderful. He is also a champion of division level contests for humorous and evaluation speech contests, and currently works as a marketing manager at Bou Subait Group in Dammam. Thank you so much, DTM Abdul Ghafoor. DTM Abdul Ghafoor is actually having some challenges signing on with us, so we hope he'll be able to join us later. And I am DTM Akanke Abdul Khalik. I have been an active Toastmaster since 2009. Last year, I was named one of 2 district-wide Toastmasters of the Year for the 2014-2015 year. I'm the past Area 20 governor for Division M, and I'm the proud founder of Dhahran Women's Toastmasters Club, one of the best women's clubs in the world, I will say. And I'm delighted to be your facilitator for this training today. Now, we're going to be presenting together this training on the DCP program, Best Club Climate and Meeting Roles and Responsibilities, and we want you to be actively engaged in the training. As such, I want to tell you how to participate. Well, you can participate by raising your hand and asking a question or giving a comment. There's a hand icon on your control panel, and if you click that, I will see your hand go up, and at the appropriate time, I will acknowledge you and open the mic for you to speak. Also, you can type a question in the question box. If you do this, I will read your question, announcing who the question is from, and give the presenter an opportunity to answer the question. So let's get started. I will now turn our screen over to DTM Joey so that he can present the first segment on the DCP program. DTM Joey, are you ready?
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman, and to all the officer members of District 79, good afternoon. Today we're going to discuss how a club can be distinguished. But before we're going to discuss it, your question is, why a club is to be distinguished? And what is it for me as the officer or member of a club, why I wanted to be distinguished? In the past and even now, the question is always, is a club always working for the number? Well, my answer is yes, because the number in Toastmasters, especially in Distinguished Club, represents quality. Number in Distinguished Club represents excellence. Numbers in Distinguished Clubs represents recognition. The very reason why a club exists is that because we wanted that all our members is going to benefit by achieving their personal goal. And the only way that they're going to achieve their goal is when they have an opportunity to deliver more speeches, when the evaluators can evaluate their speech, and when they have the leadership opportunity and develop themselves to be effective leaders. When all these opportunities are given and there are enough people that are going to represent every role in a club meeting, then it means that the club itself achieved its very purpose, to give an opportunity for the members to be good and effective communicators and leaders. And this is the reason why we have a distinguished club program. It is the goal that everybody is going to do, because it is the only way in which the area, the division, the district, and even Toastmasters International is going to rate and measure how effective the program is being established into your club. In other words, every distinguished club in our area, division, and district means a very excellent and quality Toastmasters club. Now, we have to understand that the club has two goals, and this represents the education and also the membership club. When every club is going to issue more competent leaders, more advanced leader bronze, more advanced leader silver, more competent communicator, more DTMs, it means that that particular club is doing so much and very good, because all the responsibility is given and also all the benefits received by the member. But it does not stop from there. Why? Because they can only have a very fruitful meeting if there are enough people, enough members. And it is a fact. Everyone should know that the members today will not be a member tomorrow. It is only seldom that we have a member of 21 years like me in Toastmasters Club. But if the member is a member today and his job is being moved to one city to the other, then whether we like it or not, he's going to move from one club to the other. If he will be terminated and he will be transferred to different countries, then immediately the club will be less one member. In other words, the coming and going of the members is just a normal phenomenon in a Toastmasters club. What is not normal is that if we will allow this to happen, when we are not going to invite more guests into our club, in order that these guests will be converted into members, and they too will experience and benefit of the club. And this is the reason why we have goals that are related to the Toastmasters education and also membership growth. Now your question is that if club goals is for educational award and membership growth, how it is related to the goals of a distinguished club? Well, generally, the 10 goals that are in the DCP of each club is majorly or made divided in different aspects of these club goals. The first 6 goals, for example, relates to education. And if you are going to allow me, I'm going to enumerate them. The first one is 2 thesis or 2 competent communicator, another 2 more competent communicators, 1 advanced communicator bronze, advanced communicator silver, and advanced communicator gold, and then 1 more advanced communicator bronze, silver, and gold, and then 1 competent leader, advanced leader bronze, advanced leader silver or DTM, and 1 more CL, ELB, ALS or DTM. All these 6 related to educational goal because they are all required the educational award. Then the number 7, which is 4 new members, and number 8, another 4 new members related to the membership growth. Number 9 is very important because Toastmasters is supposed to be a training club, so at least minimum of your club 4 trained officers during the period. And the period starting from June 1 to August 31 for the first period, at least 4 of your members should be attending the training organized by the district. And then from December 1 to February 28 or 29, another 4 members has to be trained. And I wanted to inform you, especially for the new clubs, if the new club is started before the first scheduled training, then the new club has to do 2 trainings, 1 and 2. But if the club or the new club is started after the first training, then if they are going to attend the second training, the Toastmasters International will already give them the whole credit for the training, even though they attended only the second training, which is in December 1 to February 29. And then 10 is more on advice administration goal. We wanted our officers not only to be good administrator, not only to be trained so that they will know their duties and responsibilities and can give their service to the club, but they're also people who can bring more members to the club because of quality of education in the club that is being conducted, especially during meeting. Now, all of this will be done, or minimum of them will be done, then we are given the recognition. And this recognition is recognition given by the area, by the division and the district, but all in all, the Toastmasters International also recognize them. Now the question, should I do and accomplish all the goals, the 10 goals that we have already enumerated? Well, no, because there is a minimum. That's why we are only asking a distinguished club program. The first one is that if out of 10 goals you achieve 5, immediately you are already recognized as this distinguished club award, and a ribbon will be given to you at the end of the term. If the area, the division, and the district is very generous, then they can also give you a recognition, and part of it, sometimes they are giving it during the SATA or at the end of the term. Or if you get or achieve 7 goals out of 10, then you will be a select distinguished club. And the highest of all these distinguished club award is the President's Distinguished Award when a club achieved 9 out of 10 goals. Of course, if you will get it as 10 out of 10, then you are a President's Distinguished Club with 100% or perfect score of 10. But it doesn't end from there, because you can still have additional distinguished scores that may not be added to the Distinguished Club Program Award, but maybe the district has an additional contribution or additional recognition that will make you one of the best club in the district. So in other words, while we are only required for 10 in DCP, you can still aspire for more, and we can help you on that. Now, in the Distinguished Club Program, we have to remember that since it is a program, there should be some goals, and you should understand the goal. You have already enumerated the goal and how to do it. You have to, very, very self-explanatory, but of course you're going to prepare and follow some rules. And the rules is very simple also. The term is from July 1 up to June 30 for the whole term, and that on the number of members, you should have at least 20 or more members, or a growth of 5. In other words, if you do not receive or do not register 20 or more members, but your base or the start membership is less than 20, you're only required to add additional 5 net growth, meaning the number of new members should be plus 5, including or considering the members that left the club, and the club success plan. The question is that, have we seen already the club success plan? Well, if you don't see the club success plan, you go back to the envelope that is given to you by your immediate past president, because in the manuals that is given is also include also the the DCP manual where the success plan is included. I want you to complete it, prepare it, because if you are not going to prepare a plan after you have set a goal, then it is very unfortunate. For sure, you are planning to fail. So if you wanted to to plan and achieve all your goals, then you have to do your success plan. Now the question is that what is the include in the success plan? Well, in the plan you have again to list the goal. You have to determine how the club can meet these goals. In other words, the EXCOM is to deliberate during the meeting what are the strategies that they are going to do. In doing these strategies, they have to plan, identify people, identify the resources, whether it is materials or people that can help them in order to do it. And then after that, if they have already established the goal, they have also to know what are the other club goals other than the 10 that has been determined, so that the purpose of the organization, the purpose of the club itself, not only within the members but also the community will be achieved. Then we have to outline the strategies of achieving this goal. There should be a specific action that everybody has to do. And in order to do an action, you have to sell this plan. The EXCOM to the president has to talk to the membership during the general meeting and tell them why it is important for us to do this. Each one of the members in the club should own the plan that is discussed and approved by the EXCOM and now by the whole club. In identifying the resources, we have to identify what are the materials, who can help us, and if necessary, can ask the area, the division, and even the district if you need additional resources to execute or achieve your goal. This is the Distinguished Club Program and Club Plan Manual. If you have not seen it yet, then please ask your area, your division, and district officer, because if you don't have the manual itself, you can download this one from the Toastmasters International website. And in this particular manual, you are going to identify and also all the things that you need in order to do that. Part of this is the club success plan itself, where you are going to describe the situation analysis related to education and also action plan related to membership, training, and administration in order to achieve the goal. And of course, you have also to have the tracking of this goal from time to time. From time to time, you should know where you are in order for you to motivate, inspire your members and officers to continue and strive more to achieve the goals that we have. And, well, as I told you, the question is, what is it for you? Why you need to have the healthy club, why you have to invite members and to go on with all the leadership and also educational awards. Well, when the members is healthy, everybody participate, and your participation is also very fruitful. You can have only a quality club, and you will be proud of your club if you have more members and every member achieve their goal. And now on the final one, let us look on the conclusion that everybody should be involved in the Distinguished Club program. It's not only the president, it's not only the officers. Everybody has to do it. Everybody should own it. And please, you have to, our responsibility is to find new members, invite guests. We have to work on with our project. Our members has to be trained so that they know what they're doing, and the administration. We have to pay on time, do our election before June or before December if we are doing it monthly. And in conclusion, we need new members so that we get new ideas. Yes, it is very important. New member because new personalities so that there will be excitement. We know only that it is by practice that we're going to improve and learn. So we need to have some slot in speaking and leadership opportunity. And of course, we will all be happy when at the end of our term we will be recognized not only as a distinguished or select, but I wish that all the club in District 79 for this year will be a President's Distinguished District. But it will not happen unless we understand the DCP and we have the plan to do it. If you have any question, then I will be available. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DTM Joey, Immediate Past District Governor for District 79. We really appreciate your presentation on the DCP program. And now what I'd like to do is to conduct some polls for the audience or for our attendees to find out, first of all, how many DC points does their club have? So I'm going to launch this poll now, and I'd like our attendees to respond to the poll so that we can get some idea of how they are doing with their club in terms of achieving their DCP points. So you'll have 30 seconds to vote. And so far, 15% of our attendees have voted, and we hope everyone will chime in before the 30 seconds is up. So we have 10 more seconds left. Almost 50% have voted, and we're waiting for others who will chime in. Okay, so we're going to close the poll now. We have 54% of our attendees who took the poll, and I will share the poll results now. 55% of them said that their club has earned less than 5 points so far, but don't worry, you have many more months to go for the year in terms of achieving the minimum 5 points, and hopefully you will even get more. 5% have already achieved the distinguished club status. That's great. 15% have achieved the distinguished club status, and 5% have achieved select distinguished. And so far, from our attendees, none of their clubs have achieved President's Distinguished. And 25% of them had no idea. So I know, can you say something about, DTM Joey, about the importance of sharing the club progress during the meetings? For example, during the business session, it's always a good idea for the VP of Education or the President to say something about where the club stands in terms of the DCP points. What are your thoughts on that?
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. You know, you don't know, or if you know the destination, but you don't know where you are now, then you could not act accordingly. The only way that we can reach the destination is to find where we are. And if we are given the tracking of where we are in DCP, then everybody will know where they are, and exactly we will know how to reach there. So it is important not only to motivate and inspire them, but to feel that they are part of the system and there is an opportunity for them to help to achieve the DCP point.
Great. Let me see. We have a hand raised. Let me unmute the mic for DTM Johnny Jean. Your mic is open. DTM Johnny Jean, please go ahead and ask your question. DTM Johnny Jean, can you hear us? Okay, I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to lower your hand, and when you fix your audio, we can come back to you. We have another hand raised. Let me just go to it. Toastmaster Assad Ansari, thank you for being on the webinar. Your mic is open. Please go ahead and ask your question or make a comment. Toastmaster Asjad, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, your mic is open. Would you like to ask a question now? Okay, can you speak loudly because we're having a challenge hearing you? Go ahead and ask your question, please. Okay, I'm going to close your mic, and when you're ready to ask your question, you can ask the question so that we can go ahead. I'll try Johnny Jean again. DTM Johnny Jean, your hand went back up, so that means your mic is ready. Can you hear me? Okay, nothing there. So let's go back to another poll. We have another poll related to the DCP module. And the question is, which of the following is a big challenge that your club faces? Members are not achieving educational goals, not enough new members, neither or both. Those usually are the biggest areas of challenges for clubs in terms of earning the DCP points. How is your club doing with these two particular areas? We'll give you 20 more seconds to vote. 45% of our attendees have voted thus far. Thank you all for participating in the polls. It makes a difference, and it makes the webinar a lot more engaging because these webinars are for you and we want to hear from you. We have 10 more seconds and 70% have voted. Okay, we'll close the poll. 2, 1, closing the poll and sharing the results. So 45% said their biggest challenge for their club is that they don't have enough new members. And 31% said their members are not achieving their educational goals. 14% said neither, and 10% said both of those things are a challenge. DTM Joey, can you talk about the challenges that clubs may be facing in these two areas and how they can overcome them?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Actually, I am expecting that it's membership that we're going to have a problem. And yes, it is always key. But I am just thinking, if there are about 3 million, 2 million Filipinos here in Saudi Arabia, another 3 million Indians, and the locals itself without the other nationalities, how much or how many Toastmasters members are there? We have only about not even 5,000 members. What is the percentage that we have related to expats and to the locals? In other words, our opportunity is very high and huge. In other words, why are we lacking members? Where is the opportunity? Are we sharing Toastmasters to our family members? Are we sharing Toastmasters in our office? Are we sharing Toastmasters in the elevator? Are we sharing it even in the fresh market or in the supermarket? Wherever there are people, please share. That's why we wanted you to have your pins, not inside the meeting, but outside when you are going out and socialize with a friend, because an opportunity for you to open up those masters. If you are going for, if you know that there is a gathering, volunteer in order to give them some educational or free seminars in order to bring Toastmasters to them and let them be interested. I, I, I feel that we have still a lot of things to do in order to share Toastmasters to others. We have a lot of opportunities. So it should not be a problem.
DTM Joey, I'd like to take a question that was put in the question box by DTM Nadir, our past district governor. The question is, if a club has 20 members and it achieved 5 points, but then lost 4 members to become only 16 members, does it stay distinguished? That's a good question. So if a club earns 5 points, but then they lose 5 of its members, the net result meaning they at the end of the year, they need to have a net growth of how many club members. Will that affect their distinguished club status if they earn a point for having 20 members and then lose members?
Okay, I'd like to start on the base. whatever the base, if the base is less than 20, then and less than 20, and they become 20 at the end of the year, then immediately they become a distinguished. Now, if their base is less than 20, and adding this will not be 20 in the end, then we are going to go back to the second rule, which is net increase of 5. In the example units that if the base is 20 in the end and it becomes 16 in the beginning, if it is the base is 20, then and it becomes 16, then they are not going to available, they will not be available for the DCP award. So since it needs only 4 to be 20, then they can just add additional 4 members to make it 20 and be a DCP awardee.
Okay, thank you very
Is
much.
that enough?
Yes, thank you very much, DTM Joey. And thank you for being our presenter on the DCP program. We enjoyed your presentation and hope you'll stick around if we have any other questions later on. Now I'm going to close your mic
Okay.
and go to our next.
Yes. Can I just let's last statement, Madam Chairman.
Sure.
Now, the other members are saying that DCP is only for the club. I wanted you to know that DCP is not for the club. DCP is for every Toastmasters, whether they're officer or member. Remember, Toastmasters is about leadership training. And if it is leadership training, there should always be goal. So the DCP is only a model that whatever things we wanted to do, we should have a goal. And this goal should have an active plan. And the plan should be written. This plan should have an action. This plan should be tracking. And when you have to track, you have to recognize and also celebrate when you have achieved that goal. Because whatever it is in leadership, goal, plan, and tracking, and also recognition or celebration is part of the motivation and inspiration as a leader. And I wanted you to remember that DCP is just a model for Toastmasters, but outside, it still be a model that you can do to be a very effective leader. Good afternoon, and thank you very much, Madam Chairman, and to all our leader members.
Thank you again. Thank you so much, DTM Joey. Really appreciate your presence today and your contribution.
Thank you very much.
We'll go now to DTM Abdullah Kozaba. I'm opening your mic, DTM Abdullah, and I'm making you the presenter so that we can see your screen in order to continue with your presentation. Welcome to the webinar, and thank you so much for your contribution today.
Okay.
So you'll get a prompt on your side asking to share your screen, and just say yes, and we'll be able to see your screen.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so we're just waiting for your screen to come up. It looks like it's going to launch in just a second. So I'll let you know when we can see it so that you can. Did you get the prompt yet to accept us to share your screen with us?
Okay, I will do now.
You should have gotten a message on your screen. Did you see the message asking you to share your screen?
I did.
Okay. All right, great. So we're ready for you to start. If you want to go ahead, and we can see your screen now. Creating the best club climate. Thank you again for being here to present on this module.
Okay, thank you, DTM Madam Kanki. And very charming good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters. And welcome to the second session of today's District 79 training program. In this session, I'm going to shed light on how the club creating the best climate that helps members to continue and remain active, as well as guests to become members toward the club success. Before I go through my presentation outline, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a situation where you decide not to go back to a certain place, such as a hotel or restaurant, because you figured out that it is below your expectation or there is no adding value to you? One time I had been in a hotel where I found that the room with deteriorated furniture, improper provided services, noisy in corridors, built wall paint, a lobby crowded with people smoking, chatting loudly, hard to see and find recreation desk, no guidance for any help. Management seeks money only. Hard to see and find reception desk. Would you think if you are in this condition, would you go back again to this hotel? The answer definitely is big no. Likewise, in the club, if the members or guests have seen such conditions, may decide to not come again to the meeting. However, by having better club condition and making people coming again and again to club meeting, this is what is called the club climate. So a Toastmaster club climate screen is not working. So the club climate is the deciding factor in whether or not guests become member and whether those members continue to participate or guests to be converted or to become a member. The club climate or condition can fall into two categories. First, physical climate, which we are talking about the room arrangement, meeting preparation and agenda, and methodologies of discussion and making decision during the meeting. The second factor, relational climate, which encouragement and feedback and people discussion in order to have learning and growth. So the question is now, how the club can create best climate? It can be done in 3 steps, as they will be explained in the coming 3 slides. First, set an example to make a good impression on members and guests, and it can be done by the following. Arrive prepared. You could arrive 5 minutes before the meeting, and you could be having the appropriate material like the manual, educational manual. Second, offering assistance or help. I'm talking here when you have no role during the meeting. You can offer your services before the meeting to the officers or after the meeting by arranging and helping the sergeant at arms in order to set the room. The third issue, volunteering for committee. As you know, we have a lot of activities during the club and we have a lot of events. So these events, it's required voluntarily people to work on that event. So a successful club, it's working with a team effort and sharing responsibility. Fourth, be supportive, listen effectively, and also provide a help and enthusiastic applause to people when they participate in the meeting. Congratulate those people participated in the meeting. Second factor, welcoming guests to make a good impression on the guest and can be done by the following. Greeting each guest in friendly manner. Also, you can do that by before the meeting and after the meeting. And engage in the conversation by discussing the issues happened during the meeting, also by asking questions. What did you decide to visit and why? And what? Be specific in your questions. Answering questions, you need to answer the question perfectly and giving good feedback to people when they ask you questions about their performance or input. So with this, you can help them to get invite them to another meeting, and from time to time, and I move forward.
Okay.
Show members that you care. Show your members that you care about them by providing a mentorship, which they are needed in particular for the new people, and also show them that the interest for others, and show them the importance of the club and how the club adding value to them. And be considerate when you providing these feedbacks. Evaluate effectively, and when I say evaluate effectively, that means you need to give a constructive feedback, and you need to recognize the achievement for the new members when they achieve their first project, in particular the icebreaker. You need to push them and help them to do this icebreaker, and foster the camaraderie, which you need to foster the relationship in a way that you're making the club as a family. In conclusion, you can, by doing these 3 steps, you can enjoy the club benefit, and also you can see and respect the other difference, which you can work together as a team for the club better and better. And from time to time, you need to check the club climate, and there is a checklist, which I cannot provide it now, but later I can provide this list to you. From time to time, you can check this list, and you see where you are for the club. And by having a healthy club, as my DJ Enjoy said, by having a healthy club, it will be healthy for you and for other members. And by the way, last but not least, this step is responsibility for each club member. It's not only for the officers. I think the officer roles and responsibility, it will be explained in the next presentation. By this, I conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DTM Abdullah Kazaba, for presenting to us on how to create the best club climate. Definitely, it's one of the most important modules, because the club climate, everything takes place inside the meeting. So, it's really one of the most critical factors in terms of a club being successful, is to have a great club climate. So I'm gonna launch some polls now, but let me just switch back to my screen so that we can free up your screen. Just give me one moment, please. Okay, so I'm going to launch a poll. The first poll that I want to launch is one that says, in which of the following do you personally try to set a good example for others? Sorry about that, the wording is wrong, but in which of the following ways do you personally try to set a good example for others? Arrive prepared and on time, offer to help, volunteer for committees and offices, be supportive, or all of the above. On a personal note, as a Toastmaster and an active member at your club or clubs, what is the one thing that you try to do the most to set a good example? Let us know. We have 43% who have already voted, and we're going to give you 15 more seconds to vote. Ten more seconds to vote. 75% have voted thus far. 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll close the poll now and share the results with everyone. So 75% of our attendees voted, and 70% said they do all of the above. That is awesome. Really wonderful. And 17% said that they try to be supportive. 10% said they arrive on time, and 3% said they volunteer for committees and offices. Well, that's really great. DTM Abdullah, 70% of the attendees on this webinar said that they do all of the above. That is really commendable.
This is recommendable. That is, it shows that the people, they understand carefully and they receive, the message very well.
Exactly. Now we have another poll related to club climate. Which of the following areas needs the most improvement in your club climate? Volunteers to serve as mentors, paying attention to members, giving excellent evaluations, recognizing achievements, or fostering camaraderie. In your club, which one of those needs the most improvement? Does your club have a lot of volunteers to be mentors? I know some clubs who struggle with that. So I'll give you 15 more seconds to vote. 37% have voted thus far. How are the evaluations in your club? Is that an area that you need improvement in your club? So we're going to close the voting now. 68%, 71% voted, and these are the results. 34% of our attendees said that they need more mentors. That's a big area of improvement for their club. 28% said that their club needs to pay more attention to members, and maybe that's something that you can talk about, DTM Abdullah. 17% said that they need help they need to improve giving excellent evaluations, and 17% also said that they need to have more camaraderie, more familyness, a more family environment or connectedness where it's very supportive. And 3% said they need to recognize achievements more in their club. DTM Abdullah, can you speak on any of these actually that you would like to speak on in terms of ways that they can improve? But the highest ones, most people said that they need help with having more mentors in their club. Any advice you can give them for that?
Yes, I agree with this result, and I think most of the Toastmasters clubs, they are facing a problem in the mentorship program, which not effectively utilized. And I think the new members, they are need a support from the senior Toastmasters in that particular issue. The mentorship program is very, very essential and an element that need to be activated in the club. And officers, they have to emphasize the members in order to working in the mentorship and assigning mentor and mentee for their club. The mentorship program is very essential element for the club in order to make the educational program in the club very effective for the new member, and also to show the support from the senior Toastmasters. Again, here it's normal. I can say a normal result by showing that people, they are looking forward for support and mentorship, because I have seen in several clubs they have these kind of problems which they need to activate the mentorship effectively.
Okay, we're getting some feedback from your end, DTM Abdullah. Okay, that's better. Okay, thank you, DTM Abdullah Kazaba. We have a question. Let me open. Someone has their hand raised. I'm not sure if it's pertaining to your module, but let's open the mic for DTM Saeed Ismail. Toastmaster Saeed, do you have a question or comment about this segment? Your mic is open. Toastmaster Saeed, can you hear my voice? Okay, I'm going to lower your hand. If you want to ask a question later, you can. We have some questions in the question box. Let's see if anything is related to the DCP program or creating the best club climate. One second. This is related. Here's a question that's related to how clubs are going about getting their members. It says that there's a club who often uses spam in Facebook in order to gain members. Is it ethical to spam Toastmasters in various Facebook groups? DTM, Abdullah, do you understand the question? Spamming? Do you know what spamming is?
No, no. Could you please
Yeah.
elaborate more?
Spamming without invitation or without permission, you find a group or an email list that you have, and you send an unsolicited invitation to them to join in your activity. It could be, and then in this case, it's coming to a Toastmasters club. So on Facebook, I guess you can join different groups and then post an announcement there to join their Toastmasters club. I personally don't see anything wrong with that. But if we're misunderstanding that, please clarify it later or raise your hand. And thank you very much. DTM Nadir has a question about club climate. He says, which is better to have in a club, cold or hot climate? This is from DTM Nadir. I'm not sure exactly what he means, but he said, good job, DTM Abdullah. And I have one question on club climate. Which is better to have in a club, cold or hot climate?
Well, I prefer to have a hot club climate. It means, when we say hot, it means everyone active and they are working together as a team and they are supporting each other. By saying cold, my understanding to cold, it means everyone is working alone. So everyone keep quiet without support of the team. So I would prefer to go with a hot club climate.
Okay, a hot climate. Okay, so I would go with you on a hot climate, I think. A cold climate to me sounds like people are not friendly. They don't really talk to each other. They don't support each other. When I think of a cold climate in terms of a club climate, it doesn't feel warm. I like warm and fuzzy and sincerity as well. So thanks for that fun question, interesting way to ask that question. Thank you, DTM. Abdullah, do you have any closing remarks for your module? I don't think we have any other questions regarding it, but maybe we will get some later. So I hope you'll stick around for the end of the presentation or the training so that we can get any other questions and answers for your module.
Yeah, if I can say that at the end, the club climate is very essential, an important issue for the club, for the growth of the club, and for having a successful club. When building, if I can say, hot club climate, it means that the club will grow, the members they will grow, you will have pioneers within the club, you will have a championship within the club, and also you will see people they will work hard in order to achieve the educational program along with the leadership program. So it will be adding value for the members before the club and the other organization. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, DTM Abdullah Kazaba, for presenting on creating the best club climate. We really appreciate your contribution today.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I just want to let everyone know that our third presenter who was scheduled to present had problems getting online. So we are going to invite our Area 20 Governor, Toastmaster Mazen Sadat, who is on the webinar, to present. He has the files and everything, and he's going to present on that segment. I'm going to now open his mic. Just a moment, please, and test it and make sure everything is okay. Toastmaster Mazen, thank you very much for this impromptu presentation that you're going to do for us. We really appreciate it. Can you hear me? I don't hear anything coming from, oh, I'm sorry, I opened the wrong mic, it looks like. 1 second. Yeah, your mic is open. Can you hear me, Toastmaster Mazen? Okay, so your mic isn't coming through. I can't hear you. So since your mic isn't open, we're going to go back to DTM Joey to present on this segment on meeting roles and responsibilities. Joey, let me just open his mic quickly. DTM Joey, do you have the presentation for that?
Yes, I have, Madam Chairman.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to come to you now and share your screen so that our attendees can see your screen. And thank you so much for presenting on this additional module. Okay, so we're seeing your screen now and we see meeting roles and responsibilities. So please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Again, good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon.
Our every meeting is the only product that we have. How best we are in doing the roles and responsibilities during the meeting is the quality of product we're selling. If we could not attract members or retain members in our club, it means that our meeting and role players and responsibilities of people doing the roles are not according to the quality and standard of those masters. We have to change. And to change is to know what are really a responsibility in a meeting. We don't want to have people in our meeting that are monotonous. We don't have people in a meeting that has to take other time because they're going to talk not only according to the time given to them, but according to the time given to 3 or more people. So today, let us share to you the meeting responsibilities and role in Toastmasters. I know that you know them all, but if they have other question later on, I'm very happy to expound some of them. Well, Toastmasters is the real, very important role player in Toastmasters meeting. Why? Because he is the captain of this meeting. He is the leader of the meeting. He knows when to start and when to end. He knows people, how to introduce them, how to put them in their proper time, how to put enthusiasm and excitement in doing the role. But as a Toastmaster doesn't give you an authority to be the person is always talking. When you do the introduction, you do almost half of the meeting as introduction. We want it to be very crisp, short in our introduction. In other words, we are not there because we wanted to show off. We are there to support the role players. So responsibility is to make sure to introduce all the participants and brief them of what they are going to do, how much time is needed for them, and if necessary, cut them if they are more than required. But before that, you have to prepare for the agenda. And this agenda should be up and out before we're going to have a meeting in consultation with the Vice President of Education. As a Toastmaster, you own the program. You own the meeting. So you should know if that person is going to come or not. If they are not going to come, then immediately you have to replace them. You have to make sure that when the agenda is presented, there's no changes in the agenda. You have to brief all the participants of that particular meeting what they're going to do. You have to make sure that you have called them. You have to make sure that you have talked to them, because you can only have a very good and personal introduction if you talk to them. Toastmasters is very important. It should be planned, and the Vice President of Education, he should always be in contact with you. The table topics master is very important also, because he is the person who will give spice, introduction, enthusiasm, and also hot topic in a Toastmasters meeting. But of course, it should be within the scope and the topics that we're discussing. Sex, politics, and religion should not be included there, and if necessary, make it very short. Not too long, that before the table topic speaker can speak for 2 minutes, the question is almost 3 minutes. So the table topic should always be shorter, and before you are going to start, always make sure that they brief you that what is the reason, what is the importance of the table topics at Toastmasters meeting. You should always be very enthusiastic, full of energy. You should always be smiling. And if necessary, you should always be there like the Toastmaster to relieve the applause in every time that we have the meeting. Answers, remember, you have to look only and call for the participants or members that do not have much role, because if you are going to call others who have already roles in the meeting, then they will be others that will not be called up. Remember, the one rules that we have in Toastmaster is that everybody talks. So make sure that everybody is given an opportunity to talk on table topics, even the guests to introduce themselves. And please give them also not so much difficult topic, especially for the guests or the new members. Speakers. Speakers are very important. And I wanted to emphasize that you are a prepared speaker because you are prepared. Do not go and speak as a prepared speaker when you do your speech only during your driving period from your home, from the office to the meeting, because it is not prepared. Whether you are very good speaker, you can do it in pronto, it is best that you are going to prepare. Why? When you write your speech, then you can use very good language, very good words, and you can also make sure that the grammar is correct. Make sure that you practice your speech. Make sure that you talk to your evaluator first before you're going to deliver your speech, so that you are making sure that the objectives is according to what the evaluator is going to observe. That you will tell your evaluator what are the things that you wanted him to observe, so that he is going to make sure that he will look for it and give you feedback later on. And when you are a speaker, please work on and understand the project before you are going to deliver it, and do it on time. Well, the general evaluator is the person who's lead the teaching staff or team of the meeting. Why? Because we're only going to learn according what the evaluators are observing. And the general evaluator is the one who is going to coordinate all the evaluators, the timers, the vote counters, and the grammarian, the counter, all the role players that are dealing there. So the Toastmasters and general evaluators work together, making sure that all of them is going to come and they are properly briefed when they are going to do that. And the general evaluator, other than commenting on the general proceedings of the meeting, is also to make sure that he will comment on the evaluators' action and also how the evaluator did the evaluation. Remember, the speaker has the evaluator, but who is going to evaluate the evaluator so that they will be good evaluators and be given tips on how to evaluate better and more constructive? Well, it is the role of the general evaluator. General evaluator, your team is the evaluating team, and you should know them also and properly guide them when they are delivering their evaluation. Now, speech evaluators, while there is a tendency for us to pick only what is not good or the skills that to be improved with the speaker, we should always be very positive, but not sugar-coated evaluation, where you will only say good things that even the speaker did not do. Maybe the speaker will be amused or even surprised who you are evaluating when you're evaluating too sweet. So while I wanted you to be constructive, I wanted you also to be honest, because it is only the honest feedback that we can give to the speaker that will contribute to how successful he will be. Timers, you should always take note of the time. It is a leadership role to honor the time not only of the speaker but also of the whole. If the speaker has already done accordingly and he is out of the time, then you and the Toastmasters and the general evaluator should make sure that they should be speaking on time. If they are more then let them understood that they are already overtime and stop them. But timer, you should always be responsible to start the time on according to the time, and don't sleep, because you may disqualify the speaker or the good speaker because of undertime or overtime. And grammarian was that you are the responsible for the grammar. You will feel that, oh, I'm not a good grammarian. Well, whatever your skill is, try to improve them. But when you are a grammarian, you are the grammarian of the meeting. And as far as that meeting is concerned, you are the only rule on the grammar. Well, others may also give their opinion on the grammar, but I feel that since you are the grammarian of that meeting, that the responsibility is given to you. And if others has the notes on the grammar, they can do it on the time on the next meeting when they are the grammarian. Why? Because you wanted to push the grammarian and give them confidence. Not that you're going to correct them on time or on the spot. If the grammarian is very open, then you can do it. But as we say, on that particular meeting, grammarian is the only rule on that particular. Well, was that there will be some errors, but the errors that we can do constructively, but not to the point that making the grammarian look bad on that particular meeting. A counter, well, your responsibility is to make sure that the people will be reminded and be conscious of their om and all other scratches. So if there is time on possible that you're going to tell each one how they have om during the meeting, then do it. But since our time is limited, it is good that you put their as and ohms and tally numbers in a sheet of paper, and then after the meeting, give it to them so that they will know if there is no time and you are only asked to declare the Tarzan of the meeting. But it should always be an opportunity for an individual to learn, but not a penalty. Well, there are some additional roles. May have other presenter of the invocation. Invocation is a sort of prayer sometimes, or invocation is something that a member of the Toastmaster is going to talk to before the meeting, which related to a particular topic, or generally invocation is something that is related to the spirituality of the meeting. But if you are not practicing it, or there are so many people who have this different faith on that particular meeting, then it's better also that we avoid them. But if it is necessary, then each one will be given an opportunity to do it according to faith. Well, part of our meeting is to make it very exciting and lot of fun. And who has the opportunity of making sure that everybody has a laugh or smile? Well, it is the joke master. But please, if the joke master is given, he should be given an ample time to prepare for it. And it should not also be a joke that will be that will hurt the feeling of other people. So we should be very sensitive. Our jokes should be related to general topic and do not put the spot other people or other race or other profession. We should always be for purpose of jokes and laugh. We should always be not only educational and funny, but should not hurt the feeling of other people. Vote counter is very easy. While the Toastmasters meeting emphasized is not a contest, you are there to count the vote as the best speaker on that particular night. So make sure that you count the votes correctly and declare the winner later on. Well, part of our meeting is the practice of parliamentary procedure, in order that the president or the presiding officer should be practicing as the chairman of the meeting, and everybody is going to follow parliamentary rules in doing and discussing our business. So in order to give proper guidance on parliamentary rules, we should have a parliamentarian that will help the president or the presiding officer in making sure that everybody is following the parliamentary rules which we used in our meeting, which is the Robert's Rules of Order. Now, all officers is given also the rule before and after the meeting. But I wanted to tell you that, well, all the officers, and I will put them all together, has given a responsibility of making sure that the meeting is not only warm, it is exciting, and all of them should be talking to and receiving all the members and guests of the meeting. But for sure, the given responsibility of making sure that the place is properly arranged, that everything is ready, all the logistic is present, including the food if it is necessary, and that there is no noise, then it is the responsibility of sergeant at arms. Other than that is, of course, the president. The president is the presiding officer of the meeting. He should always be there, not only to guide and also to give a boost and the representation of the club, but he should be there to make sure that we make our meeting according to the time, according to what the agenda is going through, and help out if there are some problems. The Vice President of Education should be very supportive with the Toastmasters of the evening, making sure that every manual has to be signed, making sure that the speeches is according to the manual, making sure that every Toastmasters or player has their own their manual, so that their roles and their responsibility will be given and be credited, so that we can put them into the educational awards for our DCP points. Membership of Public Relations, your responsibility is, of course, making sure that the meeting is truly published, properly advertised, everybody knows about it, so that we can get other people know that there is the Toastmasters not only in your vicinity, in your community, but all throughout, which you can have. So that is the reason why you have to have your newsletter, you have your website, but generally, if you have your website, every Toastmasters meeting, please give them the news, give them the information, and update them. So you should be very careful in observing the meeting so that you have something to report. The Vice President membership is not only there because they wanted to say something, to brief the members, especially the new members, of what's going to happen, what are their roles, what are their personal goal, but the Vice President membership should always be there helping every member, especially the newly inducted one. Other than inducting the new members, of course, if they are already admitted in the club and voted to. The Secretary is there to record the minutes of meeting, to record what happens in the meeting, to make sure that every guest is accounted and recorded in our guest book, that the agenda will be given to everybody, the minutes of meeting is properly disseminated, and make sure also that he coordinates with other officers of the club. The treasurer should always know when to collect, and if there is an opportunity, I should say, that the members of particular club could not pay all in time the $36, maybe the treasurer can find ways on collecting this one on an installment basis, so that when the 6 month and the due days comes, then we have ample enough of money or only few reals to be added in order to complete their membership dues. I believe that the responsibility of treasurer shows a little creative in order that we will not have problem in paying our dues and informing our members of what are the things that they have to prepare as far as the collection is concerned. Fellow Toastmasters, role players are not only actors, but real players in a laboratory of change. Change the mindset of an individual and also change the environment in which the club is performing. We wanted a warm, enthusiastic, and quality club, and this can only be done if all the role players in the meeting, officers included, prepared for that meeting and do their tasks according to what the responsibility, calls for an objective that are in their manual so that everybody will benefit in every meeting. Every meeting is an opportunity to learn, and we can learn only if all the role players perform at their desks. Good afternoon, and I'm very happy to answer questions that you have.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, DTM Joey, for delivering the presentation on meeting roles and responsibilities. I'd like to go to our question window to take any questions we may have from our attendees about that. So let me do that. 1 second, please. Okay, questions here. Slides and, okay, question from Toastmaster Sohail Kandakar. What is the procedure of selecting Sergeant at Arms, President, Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurer? Will it be based upon performance or by polls from members, or voting, in other words? DTM Joey?
We are following the parliamentary procedure in our meetings, and also we do both for our officers. So we do election. But if nobody is interested, then of course we can do also selections. But if there are many interested, then we do it by election.
Okay, one question from Toastmaster Hind Ahmed. Our club doesn't practice the parliamentary procedures. Where can we find a parliamentarian or a resource on parliamentary procedures?
Okay, so was that we should practice parliamentary procedure because this is part of a leadership training that we have to master, and that's why we have to do the Robert's Rules of Order. We have the book Robert's Rules of Orders, and you can buy that also in the bookstore or order it from the web of Toastmasters store. But if you don't have a parliamentarian, you can ask the request from the area. Maybe there are some members who can do parliamentary procedure in action seminar in order for not only the officers but also the members to know more about how to do the proper parliamentary procedure in conducting your meeting. This is part of the training that we are going to do, and if you can request it from the area governor maybe so that they can do and schedule one.
Okay, and hopefully on the webinar through District 79, we'll also present something on parliamentary procedures as well. Let's go to another question. There's a request for clarification about the invocation. If that role is taken, who is the most likely person or officer to take that role?
Well, the invocation should also be assigned to every member. Every member is given an opportunity to lead the prayer, if it is about the prayer, or about certain topic related to spirituality of the member, or other topic that you wanted to explore that will motivate the members on that particular meeting. Then it should not be one individual only, but everybody, so that this is also part of the training during the meeting.
Thank you very much. I'm going to open up the mic for DTM Abdallah. DTM Abdallah Kuzaba, are you still there?
Yes, I'm listening. Yeah.
Okay, great. So there's a question here about how we can improve members to how we can encourage members to improve attendance. That's something that that you might be able to answer. Do you have any input on how to encourage members to attend meetings?
Okay. I think every member, when attending the meeting, they are looking for adding value in the meeting. We wouldn't have a quality meeting by having a good agenda, having a good topic presented in the meeting. I think the people or the member, they will feel boring. They will feel that there is no adding value for them to attending the meeting. So by improving the meeting agenda and maybe improving the meeting quality, it will help the members, and it will help also, it will help encouraging the people to attending the meeting.
Yeah. Uh-oh, we've got a lot of feedback coming from you, DTM Abdullah. Okay. So yes, improving the meeting, the agenda, the way the meetings are conducted, having creative meetings, having speakathons or table topics-a-thons, where you devote a meeting to one or the other. Having themes for meetings is also another way to make members more interested in attending, and also just reminding them that in order for them to achieve their goals, their own personal educational goals as far as communication and leadership is concerned, reminding them that they have goals and how they can be transformed by attending. One of the things that I always tell when I conduct new member orientation is the first thing on the Toastmasters promise is, as a Toastmasters, I promise to attend club meetings regularly. So in order to, and I believe the reason it's the first thing on the list is because nothing else is possible if you don't show up. When you show up, everything is possible. You learn, you contribute, you grow, you transform, and you support others. It's attending is so important. So you can remind them also that it's a promise that they should keep. Thank you very much, DTM Abdullah and DTM Joey. We have about 4 minutes left, and let me see if there are any hands raised. No hands raised. Let's go to some other questions in the window. Another question from Toastmaster Hind. The election, she wants to be clear about when the election cycle starts. She says she's confused. Is it February or June? It's actually, no, let's see. It's actually May and November or something like that. Can you answer that?
November. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we should remember that part of the DCP point is you have to submit your officers list on time. So if you are doing it annually, then you have to do your election in May, so that in June 30 you can submit them, or before June 30 you have to do your election. But if you are going to do it semi-annually, meaning every 6 months you are changing your officer, then you have to do it in November also, the other one, so that in December 31 you are going to submit it. So if you are doing it semi-annually, you have to do it in May up to June 30, and if it is on the second one is from November to 31. But if it is annually, usually it is May to June.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, this is a question that just came in. It says, what is the correct process to replace an officer who had to leave for whatever reason? What is the correct way to replace an officer? And we only have 2 minutes left. If we can answer this question in 30 seconds, that'll give us time to answer one more question if we get a chance. Who would like to take that?
The officer role is according to the hierarchy. So if the president is leaving, then immediately the vice president becomes the president and move up to the ladder. And the last one that will be vacated, for example, is sergeant at arms. So we do the election for sergeant at arms. But for any reason, nobody wanted to be president after the president left, because the vice president doesn't want to do it, then we'll do the election for the president, or any other vacancy where there is no officer who wanted to take over.
Okay, thank you. I never heard that before, but thank you very much for that answer, DTM Joey. DTM Nadir says that they are an advanced club, and let's see, it says in the advanced club, they have a challenge to keep simple roles filled, like counter, for example, and they only do the advanced speeches and a panel of evaluators for the speeches. What do you think about that? Is it a requirement to have the other roles in the advanced clubs, or is it okay for them to focus only on the speeches and the evaluations?
Well, generally, it is also good that you have also the timer so that somebody is going to time the counters so that you'll know that they are being counted, and the grammarian. And of course, added is the panel of evaluation. Maybe I could add is that
10
since
seconds.
they are all advanced club, maybe the introduction of the rules may be skipped, but they should be there and report their evaluation or their roles later on.
Great. Thank you so much, DTM Joey and DTM Abdullah Kazaba. It's 3:30 now, and we should end our session. I want to thank all of the attendees who joined us today. We hope this session has been valuable to you. And if we did not get to any questions, it was either because we felt it might not have been relevant to the subject, and we will be happy to answer it later. If your hand is going up now, it's too late. We must conclude, and we hope you will join us for our next webinar, which will be on the 20th of November. And the subject of that one is, let me just look at our schedule quickly. We would like for you all to join us. Well, actually, the next thing that we're going to do in terms of our webinar series will be our talk with District 79 leaders next Friday, same time from 2 until 3:30. Please join us. We'll post the registration link for that. And when you register for that, you can register not only for that session, but every monthly session, because we do that every month. So you can register for more than one session. And we hope you'll join us then. But on the 20th, we're going to do a session on the Great Toastmasters Educational Program. Use it wisely and succeed. So we will be promoting that and giving you all an opportunity to register. DTM Joey and DTM Abdullah, we really, again, appreciate your contribution. And we look forward to you contributing to our members' growth and development at future webinars. Thank you so much, and have a great day, everyone. Thank you.